My next speaker, I've known for several years. We're actually on Rotary Climate Action Team directors together. We met in 2023 here at EarthX, talking about her organization called the Climate Initiative. She's been working with the young girls and many young girls nationwide to educate students on climate. So Leia Lowery, can you come on up? Give a round of applause for Leia. She's doing a great job.
Hi, so my name is Leia Lowery, but before I even start talking, I just would love you guys to give one more hand of applause, because that is one act really hard to follow. And Shawnee, thank you so much for working with them, because they were amazing, and if you saw all of those houses, the energy that they put into that was pretty phenomenal. So you guys are amazing, and I want you all part of my community, because that's what I'm going to talk about a little bit. So when you guys look at this picture, you probably just kind of see something nostalgic, a picture of a front porch, something in the past. And one of the things that I would like to venture towards is that this nostalgic picture of a front porch is actually not something from the past, but it's something that I think is actually going to help us rebuild our future. This is my version of a front porch. This was my grandmother's, I don't know why that. This was my grandmother's carport. This carport was where I sat when I visited her in Southwest Virginia. It's where family came. It's where the neighbors came to visit. It's where I learned my heritage, the drama of my family, really the soundtrack of my future, and where I really fundamentally changed how I viewed my life, my future, and all of the things that I wanted to do to build my job, and how I changed what I did in my life. And everything that I've done since then has been to build and connect people and communities, and to bring in that same sense of belonging and community to all the people that are around me, because I wanted them to feel that same thing. So what is the problem that we're facing right now? The problem that we're facing right now is a major problem of disconnection. The Surgeon General actually says that we are facing an epidemic of loneliness. 1 in 3 people say that they are lonely every single day, and that statistic is even higher for youth. 30% of youth say that they are lonely every single day. 50% of Americans say they don't even speak to people that they don't know in their own neighborhoods. This is a problem because we lack trust. We lack this social connection with people in our own neighborhoods. And if we don't have that same social trust, and if we aren't connected to each other, if we aren't talking to each other, then we aren't going to be able to build the kind of resilience to face the kind of future that we are facing. Because we do know that we are facing a tough future. There's a growing anxiety amongst our youth, and we know that. We hear the statistics about that. We have seen the power of the problems that we are facing, even just in the last year in this country. We've seen the power of the floods that we didn't think could happen in Appalachia. We have seen the power of the fires in LA just recently. We know that climate, no matter whether we say it's happening or not, is going to happen, the damage from climate change. We've also seen the power of community when these disasters happen. That people can come together, that people do come together in community and help each other out. So what is the answer? We know that we have a powerful community in Rotary. We know that there are 35,000 Rotary clubs. 1.4 million people are in this club. 1.4 million people are finding connection through this organization. We have 15,000 youth in Interact clubs. We have 702 Rotary Climate Action Teams, which Steve mentioned earlier, that are trying to catalyze climate action within their Rotary clubs. And we know that there are 7 areas of Rotary focus, and all 7 of those areas are drastically affected by climate change. Even if they don't say climate change on there, peace is affected by climate change. We know this because the budget for the Department of Defense that deals with climate has never been changed. Education is affected by climate change. We know it's the #1 solution, as Shani pointed out, and we also know that 400 million children have missed school since 2022 due to climate-related effects. So we know climate change affects all of these 7 areas. And we know Rotary creates strong community. We are doers. We are connectors. We are creators of community. I work for an organization, the Climate Initiative, that creates passion in youth. We work with educators who mobilize youth to take local action in their communities. And we work directly with youth who are passionate, just like these young women, who are working in their communities to try and make change, to create stronger, more resilient communities and the problems that they see in the land beneath their feet with the things that they know, see, and can touch. Whether it's emergency preparedness, whether it's within their school grounds and the place they spend the majority of their day, or whether it is through a lesson that they're learning. We know education, as Shani pointed out, is one of the most powerful tools to create climate resilience. And this is what John Mathers saw when we met. He had an idea of creating a program that would partner Rotary with youth, a climate program, and create this partnership that could create more resilient communities, solve the disconnection of our communities, create a place where kids could feel less anxious about climate change, create that strong bonding and connection of our neighborhoods, and maybe instead of having the problem and then the community coming together and connecting and creating that resiliency after the problem, it would create it before the problem, that we could create strong and more vibrant communities that are resilient to change before the problem happens, so that we can create these solutions prior to the problem. Because we are constantly in a state of reaction versus a state of proactive. John Mathers was the president of the San Francisco Club. We met in, actually he had a Rotary Climate Action Team conference with the 702 clubs from around the world. He invited me to come because he was very excited about the climate initiative, so I met him for the first time at this meeting. And we were very excited because we both had the same connection of we want to create stronger connected communities. We spoke the same language. So we decided we would try and youthify his climate action leadership program. Unfortunately, John passed away right before we were able to launch the program, but we carried it on in his name. So this program is what I'm here really to talk to you about, because it is the marrying of the beauty of what Rotary can do. We know that we create strong connection, and what the Climate Initiative is already doing, which is educating and empowering youth for climate action in their local communities. And the marrying of those two things can create very strong, vibrant community. Oops, I went back. So how does the Climate Action Program work? We start out by looking at we ask the youth to really look at what is happening in their local communities that they need to solve, right? And they can solve that by looking at what are the issues in their local community, because their local community may not be the same everywhere around, right? They can't solve the global issue. It's too big, it's too intangible, and that has been the problem from the beginning, that those global issues are so large that they can't solve them. So bring it down to their local community and what they can solve. Then we tell them, how they can get involved and give them agency and empower them to make those change, what is achievable and accessible. Then we teach them to do intergenerational conversations, and that is how they can have effective communication. We give them an action project, tell them how to project manage it, and get them connected to mentors. That is where Rotary comes in. We've had over 20,000 amazing action projects. I want us to think about our four-way test, and does this all match our four-way test? Absolutely. And would it make a difference? Absolutely. If just 16% of secondary school students in the world, in middle and incomes and high-income countries, were able to study climate change, it would result in cutting 19 gigatons of carbon dioxide by 2050. It's a big difference. I just want you to leave you with this one quote, and that came after a climate conversation that youth led in a community that was dealing with flooding. Apathy is the enemy. Being paralyzed by fear is the enemy. What brings me hope are these young students making energy out of fear as an opportunity to make massive changes in the way we live locally and globally. We can make a difference by rebuilding the front porches of our communities and making a more resilient future for all. And we can do that by Rotary really being the mentors for these young people. So I hope you will join TCI and the Rotary Climate Action teams and really support our young people. Thank you.
Thank you, Leia. Thank you so much, Leia.